The following is a production of Fenix Media. The views expressed do not necessarily represent those of the company or its advertisers and may contain language that's unsuitable for younger listeners.
You're listening to Be Kind, Rewind with Tim Nydell, taking you back to when movies were actually good.
Are you telling me that you built a time machine out of a DeLorean?
When music wasn't auto-tuned. When TV only had a few channels. And now, here's your host, Tim Nydell.
Hello everybody, welcome to a brand spanking new episode of Be Kind, Rewind with your host, Tim Nydell. That is me. Please follow me online. It's at Tim_Nydell. That's Nydell. And thank you so much for tuning in to Be Kind, Rewind, the show that takes you back to when things were good. There was no auto-tune before everything was streaming. When things were actually good on television. And that's what this episode is all about, because I'm taking you all the way back to your childhood, because I have the amazing voice actor Michael Bell on the show today. Michael has an extensive voiceover resume. I mean, he was on Super Friends, where he voiced Dan and Gleek. He was on Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends. He was Doc Ock in that. The Smurfs, he's Grouchy, Handy, and Lazy Smurf. Transformers, just to name a few, he was Prowl, Sideswipe, Swoop, Scrapper, Bone Crusher, and much more. G.I. Joe, which is honestly one of my favorites of him, he was Duke.
They were after our new guidance system. They didn't know we moved it to Joe headquarters.
They'll be back,
Yeah. We'll be ready.
Of course, on Rugrats, he was Drew Pickles, and many, many other characters on there. And another one of my favorites on Darkwing Duck, he was Quackerjack. And of course, we talk about all those and many more things on the interview, so stay tuned for that. But while I have you guys listening to me, please check out my website, timnydell.com, and please subscribe to me on YouTube. I release one new video a week on there, and just got back from my Florida trip where I went to Disney World, and I filmed 4 different YouTube episodes while I was there. Right now, while you guys are listening, Parts 1 is already out, which is Epcot. Part 2 is coming out this week, which is Magic Kingdom. And of course, we still have Hollywood Studios and Animal Kingdom coming up very, very soon. So just find me on YouTube. You can type in Tim Nydell or go to my website, timnydell.com. So I've actually interviewed Michael Bell a couple times. First time would have been 9 years ago, because he was the very first interview that I ever did for my other podcast, Saturday Morning Rewind. And second time is the interview you're just about to hear. So let's play it. Here is my interview with Michael Bell. I don't think we talked about this last time. Tell me about your childhood. What was your childhood like?
Good God. You asked me to really go. I can't even remember what I had for breakfast. Go back to a kid born in Brooklyn. Just always entertaining. Going down to the local store, singing, dancing, getting a couple of pennies, bringing them home. My mother accused me of stealing, beat the shit out of me. No. I went down there, sang, danced, whatever, and they always gave me bucks. And I thought, isn't this a great way to live? And then I guess just had the average, Brooklyn kids experience. Still friends with all my friends from Brooklyn.
Oh, nice.
And their kids. Yeah, we maintain a relationship. And then I eventually went to the High School of Performing Arts. Everybody else was going to the local high school. I went to Performing Arts, where I learned how to speak. I took voice and diction lessons and came back and managed to correct everybody in my neighborhood and piss them off royally. People were saying axe. I'm going to ask you a question. I say, no, that's axe.
So they even did that back then, huh?
Yeah.
Wow.
You heard axe, you heard turlet. I'm going to the turlet.
That kills me now. I hate that even now, and I can't imagine back then.
Yeah, well, no, I never thought much of it until my mother always had my mother always spoke well, and so I always spoke well, but I really learned voice and diction to get rid of the Brooklyn accent to some degree at the High School of Performing Arts in Manhattan. So, of course, anytime anybody said anything, I obviously prompted I was prompted to correct them, which was kind of funny. And anyway, went off to, then eventually went to California, and the rest is history, at least in my personal family. I don't think anybody else gives a crap.
At that young age, were you interested in the animated shorts and animated features that were out?
Nah, I didn't know anything. There was no animation. I mean, other than Bugs Bunny and all of Mel Blanc's stuff, who I eventually would meet and work with. But no, I never even today, when young kids, they can't associate the voice of a cartoon character with a human being until you get past a certain age. Or you're in show business and your parents are doing it. But for the most part, I didn't have any knowledge of that. To me, it was movie stars.
Yeah. No, it's funny that you mentioned that because I have a 4-year-old daughter, and she every now and then points out Frank Welker.
Yeah.
So it's pretty funny that she can point. She's wrong a lot of times, of course, as a 4-year-old, but it's pretty funny to hear her ask if that was Frank Welker doing the dog voice.
I think that's very smart of her. She should be aware of Frank Welker.
Yeah.
We used to kid about the fact, because Frank is such a sweet, nice, really easygoing guy, and we used to kid about the fact that one day they would dig up his backyard and find teenage parts in hefty bags.
Oh, wow. That's a little dark.
Yeah, no, we're all dark. All of us are dark. Because he's such a sweet guy. We said, there's got to be something. He's just, nobody's like that.
Yeah, he's too perfect.
That's Frank. Frank, cool, nice, pleasant, laugh, good guy, sweet guy, doesn't say anything nasty about anybody, unlike me. So.
Yes. Was your first big role in an animated cartoon, was it Scooby-Doo?
Actually, no. It was Hanna-Barbera's Oliver Twist and the Artful Dodger.
Oh, really?
And my competition were all English actors, including Davy Jones of the Monkees.
Wow.
And I wound up getting it, which was, boy, that was just, what a coup that was, considering the fact that I don't sing and I'm not English.
Yeah, no kidding. How did you pull that off?
I have no idea. Maybe those letters I sent to Joe Barbera threatening his life might have had something to do with it.
I see a recurring theme going on here. We're threatening people's lives, digging up people's backyards, looking for bones.
Yeah, I'm pretty dark.
Behold, my precious. Ooh, yeah, let me tell you something right here, It's the Loot Crate subscription box, full of exclusive loot, fun surprises delivered to your door every month.
Just pick up your favorite geeky genre, Daddy.
From the original Loot Crate, the Loot Crate DX collectible boxes, dude! Cowabunga!
To the Loot Gaming video game box. Woohoo! Yee-hoo! Wowzers! With crits starting as low as $11.99 per month, there's a box just about for all collectors.
To get your geek on, head over to phoenixmedia.us/Loot Crate and claim your exclusive offer. That's FENIX media.us/Loot Crate. Great Scott!
Snap into a Loot Crate, dig it?
WWE superstar Alberto Del Rio. Take one.
Behold the angry giant.
Try it again, Alberto.
Behold the angry giant.
Perfect. Good luck tonight.
Behold the angry giant.
Yay! Read me another one, Dad.
This is WWE superstar Alberto Del Rio. It only takes a moment to make a moment. Take time to be a dad today.
Visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
This is Mario Andretti. You know me as a race car driver, but I'm also a Meals on Wheels volunteer. I've raced against the sport's biggest personalities, but I've never met more vibrant, amazing people than the seniors served by Meals on Wheels. You can make a difference by dropping off a hot meal and saying a quick hello. So, America, let's do lunch. Volunteer your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org.
This message brought to you by Meals on Wheels America and the Ad Council.
People been saying to your friend, get a different face, and posting on their feed, they're super ugly. The things they say to them online are cruel and they're not true. So tell your friend, I'll stand up for you. Don't worry, I know what to do.
Know someone
being bullied online, you can be a witness and make a difference by letting the world know it isn't cool and by letting your friend know you care. Learn more at eyewitnessbullying.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
Hope you enjoyed your meal. And I just want to say, he's lucky to have a brother like you.
Lucky? Caring for my brother is far from easy. But he's a part of me, like my arms and legs, so I'll be his. No time for tired. Nothing can disable this love. He needs me, but I'm the lucky one, even though I need help now and then.
If you're caring for a loved one, visit aarp.org/caregiving for care guides and community support for your strength. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
You're listening to Fenix Media. Listen live and explore more great shows at fenixmedia.us.
But when you finally did hit the Scooby-Doo set, what were those recording sessions like? I mean, I pretty much would do anything to be in the same room with people like Don Messick, Casey Kasem and Frank Welker. What were those sessions like?
God, you got one live guy out of two dead and one live one. That's a little creepy.
I know.
It was cool. It was fun. It was great fun. I guessed it more than anything else. I wasn't a regular on the series, obviously, but I guessed it. And it was great. It was really great fun. And I think I worked with Henry Corden, who at that point was, wait a second. Henry was doing, my mind is going. Henry was doing the other show, the Flintstones. Yeah, I worked with those guys, guested on those. Fun, silly. I think if they recorded some of the outtakes, they'd have a hell of a series.
No kidding. I would love to hear those.
Messick did some he's a very funny little guy, rest his soul. He was a funny guy, very low key, but still sent in a zinger or two. And that's kind of hard sending in zingers when you get a crowd like that, because everybody, and Frank, of course, as you know, was at that point in his career was doing stand-up.
Mm-hmm.
Ice House. So he had lots of stuff in his bag, in his funny bag. But he was, again, low key, funny, basically just zipping something in. And, I guess Casey was low key. Casey didn't have a funny bone particularly, but he was certainly talented.
Was it a little intimidating stepping in the recording booth with those people for one of your first sessions?
Actually, no. By that time, I was pretty well along. So the intimidating ones were possibly Olin Soule, who did Batman.
Yes, yeah.
He was a radio guy, and there were several others that I'd heard as a youngster on the radio. I forgot his name. God, my mind is going. Who did Archie Andrews on the radio, and we wound up working together. I said, God, I saw you when I was a kid. Something he didn't want to hear.
Yeah.
I went to RKO. I went to Radio City Music Hall and saw Archie Andrews, and it was you. You were Archie Andrews, and oh my God, that was so exciting.
Wow.
But other than that, not anybody. I didn't know Casey that well. I didn't listen to the top 40 that much. So I became friends with Casey, but not certainly at that point. And Frank, I didn't know. And Frank came after me. I think I was at Hanna-Barbera first.
Oh, wow.
With Oliver Twist, and then the Smurfs, and I think Frank must have come after me because they gave me, in Super Friends, they gave me the role of Gleek, the blue monkey, and I was doing animals until Frank stepped into the picture. And then they said, oh, Frank does great animals, let's give him to Frank.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, that's a very good point, because you would think, Gleek would be voiced by Frank Welker.
I would have thought, yeah, but they said, Mike, I want you to do Gleek, and I said, okay, and I just pulled up my shorts and did them.
Oh, Gleek was a great character. They get, kind of frowned upon nowadays, the Wonder Twins and Gleek, but I always gravitated towards them. I loved them as a team.
Who frowns on them? I want to know who's frowning on them.
There's just a lot of group out there that hate upon the Wonder Twins and Aquaman for some reason. I don't know why.
I loved Aquaman. I thought Aquaman was a great character. I love comic books. I was a big comic book fan. That I was. But the Wonder Twins, that's funny because I attend a lot of Comic-Cons. I got about 7 this year to go to. And I often get people that come up and say, oh, my God, you were Zen. Oh, my God, I love the Wonder Twins. Would you do it for me? And I say, sure. And I do twin powers for them. But that's surprising. No one ever came up to the table and said, "I hated Zan."
Oh yeah, it's because you're intimidating. You kill people and bury them in the backyard. They don't want to approach you about that.
It's because I have an AK-47 on my table along with my pictures. So
that's what it is. That's got to be it. But I hear quite a bit of animosity online for some reason about the Wonder Twins. I never got it because I love them as characters.
So funny. And by the way, interestingly enough, when they closed Hanna-Barbera and they gave it to Warner Brothers, sold it to Warner Brothers, they had one final recording at our booth, the booth we always used at Hanna-Barbera on Cahuenga Boulevard, and they called me in, and it was going to be Zan and Jaina doing a commercial of some sort, and they used the Wonder Twins. Of all the characters they had, they used the Wonder Twins, and they couldn't find Liberty Williams, who was Jaina. Mm-hmm. So they got another young actress, and we wound up. And when they left, our engineer said, "Mike, you're the last voice at Hanna-Barbera."
Wow.
So I called up Frank. I said, "I was the last voice." Ha ha.
Nice. So one of my favorite voices of yours has to be Duke from G.I. Joe. Do you get that quite a bit? Do you think Duke is maybe your most famous voice?
It's, it may be. Duke may be, and possibly Prowl from Transformers or Swoop. Those are the three that I always get asked about. And then, of course, there's the younger crowd. There's a crowd that were big Smurf fans and said, "Oh my God, Grouchy, good, you're Grouchy," etc. And then there's my video game people. But Duke, the G.I. Joe crowd is big. Everybody dresses up in the cosplay, and there they are. They come in their uniforms and stuff. And I've had a lot of people say because of Duke or because of Prowl, both of them were police or Army. I joined the Army, I joined the Marines, or I became a cop, or whatever it was. But yeah, Duke is a pretty interesting character.
Yeah.
He's pretty famous. Did you see Community by any chance?
Yes. Oh, that was an amazing episode.
Wasn't that funny? They called and they said, "We'd like to use Mike as Duke since he's the original voice, but he's in his 70s now. Does he sound like that?" So they said, "We'll give him a call." So I said, "Yeah, have him call me." So the producer called me and he said, "Hey, is Michael Bell there?" I said, "Yeah." And he said, "Can I speak to Michael?" I said, "This is Michael. What do you want?" And he said, "Michael Bell." I said, "Yeah, it's the voice of Duke. You want me to do it again?" And he said, and I said, "Look, yes, it's me. What? What do you want?" And he said, "Oh, okay, good. You got it. You're in."
Wow.
Okay.
So I'm assuming the whole community, people were all fans of all G.I. Joe and all the retro cartoons and everything.
Well, there's not a whole, no, they weren't there. When you just go into a booth, you buy yourself. It's pretty masturbatory. It's just, in fact, I call it vocal baiting. You go in there and you do your voice, and you have your director, and he says, "This is what I want." And he's a fan, but he knows what he wants for his show. Mm-hmm. So you just have to gird your loins and give him what he wants. Yeah. Like
we said earlier in the interview, we're losing a lot of people nowadays. We just recently lost your Rugrats co-host, Jack Riley, who was Stu Pickles.
Yeah, my baby Jack passed away. He suffered badly in the past couple of years.
Yeah.
He had some problems. I'd see him, but he was one of the wittiest guys. I mean, we're talking cerebral, not the comics that stand up and jump out and have to throw a line in and look at me, like a trained seal. He just sort of slipped it in like a sharp shiv. Very funny guy. When people were knocking off, when we lost Bob Ridgely, who was a very funny guy, he was at the eulogy, and he sort of introduced everybody and was extremely funny and very erudite and extremely witty. And then somebody else died, and then Jack was doing the eulogy. Then somebody else died, and Jack did the eulogy.
Wow.
So I thought, well, he's become the Toastmaster, of eulogies. And we were on a session once at Rugrats, and I don't know what happened. I was drinking a glass of water, got caught in my throat, and I went, and Jack immediately took out his pad and pen, and I said, "Jack, I'm not dead. This is just a cough. Stop writing."
So who did his eulogy for his?
I don't know. I heard about it late, and then the next word I got was they had the event, and I just was not informed where it was and that it was going on. So unfortunately, I missed it.
Wow.
But I'm sure a lot of other people attended and said some very wonderful things about him.
I'm sure. Yeah, he was a great guy and a great voice, and Rugrats was a great cartoon, kind of ahead of its time, I think, honestly.
Oh, way ahead. In fact, Vanessa Coffey, who was the producer, I think, at Paramount or one of those studios, I forgot where it was, I think it was Paramount, but Vanessa Coffey killed it after 5 years and said, that's it, it's had its run. And then the audiences went crazy and wrote in, and it came back on. And I think Vanessa Coffey was retired or something. They were sent someplace else, or maybe she just dropped out. But it was not a smart move because we went on from there. It was just such a successful show. Won all kinds of awards, did the movies,
Oh, yeah, for sure. And my 4-year-old daughter was watching it last night, and she was just gravitated toward, just loved it.
Yeah, I see. According to the residuals, thank you for your daughter's worth. I just got $1.56.
Oh yeah,
and it's what they call an evergreen in our business. It just has a life beyond its life.
Mm.
Everybody always asks me about G.I. Joe and Transformers and the life that it has. It doesn't have anywhere near the life that Rugrats has. Interestingly enough.
And Nickelodeon is reviving a lot of their series. Is there talks on a new Rugrats at all?
Not that I heard.
Okay.
No, not that I heard. I'm sure if they do, Justin Bieber will be playing my role.
I know. Seriously, that really irks me right there.
Yeah, I just saw last night. I saw Disney's Jungle Book. And I saw the original Jungle Book. I don't know if you've ever seen the original with Sabu, which is extraordinary. It's a beautiful, beautiful film, and it's very faithful to Rudyard Kipling's book. But the new Jungle Book is not by any stretch. And despite the extraordinary CGI and wonderful characters, I felt the use of superstars for the voices was an enormous waste of time, and I didn't think they were that particularly good.
No, I agree. I actually am not going to watch it. I'm kind of boycotting it because of that same reason. When I saw the first trailer and I heard that Ka was being voiced by Scarlett Johansson, and it was so awful in the trailer.
And it was not only was it awful, she got to sing. Good for Scarlett Johansson, she gets to sing. But if you're singing a voice like "Relax," "Stick with me," and "I'll keep you comfortable," then she's being slowly going to kill him and choke him to death. She's just singing the song.
Yeah.
Jon Favreau directed, I guess, was afraid to direct her or whatever. I don't know, or maybe he didn't direct the music. But I got to tell you, and I'm not a big Bill Murray fan, frankly, and I think he was wrong for the bear. I think Idris was wrong. English actors, come on, Ben. I love Ben Kingsley, but English actors for these two animals in the jungle, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy time. And I think Christopher Walken's very funny as King Louis. He's very, very funny, but he's New York, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, so we got King Louis in the jungle. He's New York. I mean, come on, guys. Give me a break.
Most of my family, they never graduated high school, so I'm trying to break that barrier. My daughter Brooklyn was also a motivation for me to go back to school. Every day after work, went straight to school, and it paid off.
At age 26, Kareem finished his high school diploma.
I could not have done it alone. I see the future is really bright for me.
No one gets a diploma alone. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
So I'm a cat, and I just moved in with this new human, and she's got this little toy she's always playing with, all day long. Tap, 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 bloop, bloop. She can't put it down. There it is. Oh, and get this. She even talks to it. Last week, she asked it for Chinese, and guess what? Egg rolls showed up. Like magic. Humans have cool toys.
A person is the best thing to happen to a shelter pet. Be that person. Adopt. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the ShelterPetProject.org.
What if I told you that a tornado was going to happen tomorrow, right where you live? That it would touch down at exactly 3:17 p.m., and I told you the exact path it would take. You would, of course, prepare. You would talk with your loved ones, and you'd make a plan today. It's true, I can't tell you a tornado will strike tomorrow, but shouldn't you have a plan anyway? Go to ready.gov/communicate and make your emergency plan today. Don't wait. Communicate. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
I spend a lot of time in the backyard, and I'm the center of attention at summer barbecues. In '96, I made some of the tastiest s'mores. And at 09, it was me, your backyard fire pit, that accidentally started a wildfire when a summer breeze carried one of my embers into some dry brush.
Spark a change, not a wildfire. Visit SmokeyBear.com, brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
My name is Lola Silvestri, and I'm going to be 95 this year. I was very independent. I fell, and I had to have Meals on Wheels. America, let's do lunch.
1 in 6 seniors faces the threat of hunger, and millions more live in isolation. Drop off a hot meal and say a quick hello. Volunteer for Meals on Wheels by donating your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org. This message brought to you by Meals on Wheels America and the Ad Council.
Hey everyone, let's all stop what we're doing and take a moment. You see, every moment can be kind of special. But they can be loud moments, goofy moments, dorky moments, it doesn't matter. Because every time dads like us take a moment like that to spend with our kids, well, it's pretty momentous. So let's take a moment to make a moment. Call 877-4DAD-411 or visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
You're listening to Fenix Media. Listen live and explore more great shows at fenixmedia.us.
It's almost like when my wife watches Star Wars and there's these British accents and these American accents. She always kind of just does not really like how they're in outer space and yet there's English and there's American. So it's kind of the same way with the Jungle Book, I guess.
Yeah, well, but you're out of space. Space means everybody in the world has joined forces, and we got Russians and we got Scots and we have English, and it's all okay. You're in the jungle. In the jungle, first of all, it stretches the imagination, and I understand it. I mean, the original Jungle Book has wolves. There's no wolves in the jungle. Never were wolves in the jungle, ever. You had lions, tigers, and you didn't have bears. But that's okay. We can buy the wolf because Mowgli's raised by the wolves, and that's perfectly all right. But in this one, you've got every animal from everywhere, which is okay, except that it's goofy voices.
Yeah.
The voices don't fit those people. And if you remember, if you watch it, let your daughter see the original Jungle Book, the movie, it's just beautiful.
Oh no, it's one of my favorites.
It's just gorgeous. It's beautifully done. And they've never been able to match it because they keep changing the story. They're making it better.
I know.
There's nothing to make better, But anyway, needless to say, that's just a personal opinion. As far as Star Wars is concerned, I ADR'd Star Wars as well.
What'd you do in Star Wars?
I was called in. I knew nothing about Star Wars at all. I don't think anybody did. And I was called in, and this guy, George Lucas, was casting for an American because he'd had so many English people in it other than Mark and Harrison. And I said, and what's her name? Fisher. Mm-hmm. So I went in. I didn't know anything. And I went in and I looked at the dailies, and he wanted me to dub the guy at the council who was sitting there who questions Darth Vader, and then Darth Vader looks at him. The guy starts to choke and grabs his throat. And so I dubbed him, and then I said, why am I dubbing him, George? He's very good. And he said, yeah, but he's English. I said, everybody's English. Huh. What difference does it make? He said, well, I want to get some American voices. I said, fine, I'll do it, put it in, but he's damn good. And I did it, and he said, yeah, I like what you did. I said, yeah, but take my advice, George. I know better than you, right? I didn't say that, but that was in my head. And I said, I just think you should use the original guy. And thankfully he did. I thought he was really good. But when it came to the guy who's now passed on, who did the voice of Commander Willard, I says, we're thankful you're okay, Princess Leia. That's my voice.
Okay. I did not know that.
And my voice is also in some of the guys from the Federation. I died. There was a lot of, and we're getting down here. Oh, I've been hit. And all that crap.
Wow.
And I watched the dailies, and of course, you don't see all the special effects. So I see this young kid who looks like a surfer with Harrison Ford, who I didn't know that well, with 2 flashlights fighting. And I went, what the hell is that? And Lucas says, no, it's really not an acting film. It's an action film. I said, oh, okay. And then, of course, Alec Guinness came on. I said, whoa, wow, you got Alec Guinness. Whoa, and he was wonderful. Even in the dailies, he was wonderful. So a group of friends of mine said to me, about a year later, they said, we're going to Grauman's Chinese Theater. Let's all get stoned. In those days, I did. And they said, let's go see Star Wars. And I said, I don't think so, guys. I'm not interested. I did voices in it. And they said, really? And I said, yeah, and that's just you. Because I was doing voices in a lot of stuff at that point. I'm not interested. And they said, oh, come on. So they dragged me along. I got on the line. I thought, oh, wow, what am I in for? And from beginning to end, I was lost in it like everybody else. Totally knocked out and amazed. I even forgot, for an actor, to hear my own voice.
Wow.
To even listen. I absolutely was stunned.
So I want to talk a little bit about your voice directing. You actually directed one of my favorite cartoons, kind of an underrated cartoon, Peter Pan and the Pirates.
Oh, I'm so glad to hear you liked it. I loved it. I thought it was well done. Yeah, I directed that with Tim Curry, bless his heart, and Ed Gilbert and Tony Jay and a whole slew of really wonderful actors and young actors as well. Jason Marsden as Peter, and Debbie Berry as Tinkerbell. It was just super. Altogether, it was just a wonderful experience. I think I did 50 or 80 of them or something like that. Yeah, that was a treat. Watching Tim work was a treat.
Yeah, what was that like? What was it like directing Tim?
Well, you almost don't have to direct him. You just have to guide him every now and then, which is rare because he's so good. There were some ideas I had, and he went along with it. He's such a consummate professional. He didn't fight me on it, and he could have, because he certainly has been around long enough. And it was really super. And I was there to talk about a little bit of intimidation, because I had seen him in the original Rocky Horror on stage.
Oh, wow.
I think it was at the Whiskey a Go-Go, or one of those places on Sunset Boulevard. And I sat right in the front row, and he had that long walkway, and he walked down the walkway in that tight cinch thing with his long stockings and his hair flying. And I said, this is like Victor Mature out of Joan Crawford. I said, what an amazing performance. And then I saw him on Broadway in Amadeus. And now here I have an opportunity to direct him. And I said, we finally, after a couple of sessions, I sat down, we talked, and he was very easy to talk to. And I mentioned Rocky Horror, and he said, oh, God, he didn't want to talk about it.
Really?
Yeah, because it labeled him.
Yeah.
One thing, and it kind of labels you. But then I said, well, then I did see you on Amadeus, and I thought you were extraordinary. And he said, well, he thanked me profusely and told me a little bit about it and what it was like working with Ian McKellen. And it was an interesting thing. And we would become not friends, but hey Michael, hey Tim, because we'd work later on in other shows, animated shows. But he had won an Emmy for his performance as Captain Hook.
Yeah, I remember that. That so good. He was amazing. I think the first time I saw him was in the movie Clue when I was little, and I still love that movie today. His performance is amazing.
Oh yeah, he's a wonderful actor and somewhat overlooked. And then. Interestingly enough, years later, he had thanked my friend Gordon Hunt, who was a director who had directed me in Smurfs. He thanked Gordon Hunt when he won his Emmy, and I said, gee, that's nice. I directed you, and you thank Gordon Hunt. I'm really feeling good about that. And so many years later, he was doing Spamalot on Broadway. It was a big sensation, the Monty Python play.
Yes.
And I wanted my daughter to see it, so I contacted him, and I said, Tim, you may remember me, my darling. I directed you in something that you won an Emmy in. I think it was Peter Pan, and perhaps House Seats Are in Order for something like that. Although you thanked Gordon for it, I forgive you if I get House Seats. And he wrote back, he said, my darling, absolutely, oh my God, yes, absolutely, come to New York and come see the show. And I mean, of course, I paid for them, but they were house seats. And I said, and we want to come backstage. I want to bring my daughter on stage. To get on a Broadway stage, I want her to see what it's like, what the house looks like from the stage, because she's going to be an actress. And he was so gracious, and we saw the show and got up on stage and showed us the props and the sets and the scenery. And who knew years later my daughter would be on Broadway.
Yeah, and Ashley is an amazing performer.
Thank you.
Obviously, she gets that from your wife, probably.
Probably not for me. She got nothing from me. She just got tuition for college. That's all.
Yep, that's about it.
And I just drive her and my wife to dinner when we go out. I mean, I'm the driver, the chauffeur with money. So, But it was really, really cool. And Tim was just lovely. And I was really sorry to hear that he'd been hit with something. I think that he had some sort of illness.
Yeah, it was a stroke, I believe.
Behold my precious. Ooh, yeah, let me tell you something right here. It's the Loot Crate subscription box, yeah, full of exclusive loot, fun surprises delivered to your door every month.
Just pick up your favorite geeky genre, Daddy.
From the original Loot Crate, the Loot Crate DX collectible boxes, dude! Cowabunga!
To the Loot Gaming video game box. Woohoo! Yee-hoo!
What's with kids today, huh?
Wowzers! With crits starting as low as $11.99 per month, there's a box just about for all collectors. To get your geek on, head over to phoenixmedia.us/Loot Crate and claim your exclusive offer. That's FENIXmedia.us/Loot Crate. Great Scott!
Snap into a Loot Crate, dig it?
Welcome to Calvin's Barbershop.
You all gotta see this.
I don't even want to know what you're looking at on that phone.
Well, you should. I was learning about the dangers of high blood pressure and that we need to get ours checked regularly. High blood pressure can increase the risk of heart attack or stroke, but this text program can help keep it at a healthy range. Just text Barbershop to 97779 to sign up.
I'll get right on it as soon as I'm done with this baby panda video.
Text Barbershop to 97779. A message from the American Heart Association and the Ad Council.
Dear John, I'm leaving. Uncontrolled high blood pressure is serious, and I can quit whenever I want. Why can't we get back to when you checked on me? I don't want to leave. But remember, when I quit, you quit. Sincerely, your heart.
Listen to your heart and don't let it quit on you. High blood pressure can lead to a stroke, heart attack, or death. Get yours to a healthy range today. For help keeping yours at a healthy range, text PRESSURE to 97779. A message from the American Heart Association, the American Stroke Association, and the Ad Council.
WWE superstar Alberto Del Rio. Take one.
Behold the angry giant.
Try it again, Alberto.
Behold the angry giant.
Perfect. Good luck tonight.
Behold the angry giant.
Yay! Read me another one, Dad.
This is WWE superstar Alberto Del Rio. It only takes a moment to make a moment. Take time to be a dad today.
Visit fatherhood.gov, brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
It may be hard to believe, but people just like you are already saving money. FeedThePig.org makes it easy. Their simple savings plan teaches you how to start saving without going overboard, so you don't need to sell all your belongings and live in a commune.
These dungarees belong to all of us now, Tom.
You don't need to get a second job as a stuntman.
We need a new stuntman!
You just need FeedThePig.org. Don't get left behind. Get tips and tools at FeedThePig.org. Brought to you by the American Institute of CPAs and the Ad Council.
You're listening to Fenix Media. Listen live and explore more great shows at phoenixmedia.us.
So was voice directing something you wanted to do more of? Because I think you only did it a couple times.
Yeah, I would love to have continued. For whatever reason, I don't know why it didn't happen. I really don't know why, because I knew that I was good, and that spinning a rose in my nose, because I directed Kid Video, too, which was a very interesting series for Haim Saban. It was a really interesting series, but he killed it. It was doing very, very well. He killed it. He had difficulty with Screen Actors Guild, so he just said, screw it. Yeah, he has more money than the Pope, so what does he care?
So he doesn't care.
So, and then I had great success with Peter Pan. I mean, everybody talked about it. You know, Tim won the Emmy. It won all kinds of huzzah. Everybody was watching it. And then I didn't direct after that. I did cast Superman, though, the series.
Oh, did you? I didn't know that.
And then they put me in as Lex Luthor, and my friend Jeannie McSwain wound up casting it, and I put her in as Lois Lane.
Yes. Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, very nepotistic. But listen, if somebody's good, I don't care. I won't put anybody in. I wouldn't cast anybody if they weren't good. They had to be good. They had to fit the bill. But if it was a friend who I knew was super talented, opposed to somebody I didn't know, hell, I put my friend in. I don't care.
Yeah. Now, speaking of, I did find something interesting online, so it very possibly could be wrong. It's said that you are actually Steve Guttenberg's godfather and mentor. Is that right?
To a degree, yeah. To a degree, I was. I grew up with in Brooklyn. I told you I'm still friends with my friends in Brooklyn as well. And I grew up in Brooklyn, and Annie, his mother, and I were good friends, along with a whole bunch of other Brooklyn peeps. And when Steven was a little kid, he wanted to come out to Hollywood, so he came and stayed with me for a while.
Wow.
And many of my friends, their kids did. But he really wanted to hang in there as a youngster. And he was I think he was just prepared to go into college. And I took him to a lot of events that I went to. And a lot of my friends were casting directors, and they all thought he was so cute, such a cute kid, swimming with him, and he was funny and outgoing. And so I got to do a film called Roller Coaster.
Yes.
And there was a role in it for a young kid who played my assistant. And I said asked the casting director, Linda Otto, I said, do you think this might be something for Steve? You know, he doesn't have much experience, but he's certainly good. He said, oh yeah, it's not much of a role, sure. So we spoke to the director, they said, sure. So Steve wound up getting that. It was his first real job. And then after, I put him in as an extra on a couple of TV shows that I did, but he did that, and that was the beginning. And all of a sudden, his career blossomed like crazy.
Yeah, it did.
And one day I'm at the beach house. I had a beach house at the time in Santa Barbara. And Steve said, the phone rang, and I picked it up. I said, yeah, who's it? He said, this is Steve Guttenberg there. I said, yeah, this is some personal number. Who is this? And he said, this is Bob Evans.
Wow.
I said, Bob Evans? Can't be the Bob Evans doing Godfather. Bob Evans?
Wow.
Evans? I said, I don't even know if Godfather, whatever it was, he was a big, super name. And I said, Steve, there's a Bob Evans? He said, oh, yeah. And he goes, yes, Mr. Evans. Yes, sir. Yes, I'd love to do the film. Yes, sir. And I thought, you're doing a film for Bob Evans? Jeez. I mean, this is really amazing. It was his career just took off.
Huh.
But between us, because he's written in his book, actually wasn't in his book, between us, years later, he made a lot of appearances predicated on his success from the police show, the police movies.
Police Academy, yeah.
Police Academies. And everybody said, and when Joan Rivers and all these other hosts said, so how did you get started? He said, I did it all by myself.
Oh, no.
And I sat there, my mom said, I just watched Steve Guttenberg. I watched your godson, who I took care of when you had to go on location, who I fed and took care. I just watched him say he did it by himself. And somebody said, and they've always said, you mean you had no help at all? No, I did it by myself. And he go to this whole bull story about everything that he did. And I thought, whoa, what? And then Joan Rivers, who I knew me, because I didn't play for her, said, there was nobody. He said, no. There was nobody, Steve. There was nobody here at all to help you. You just came out here by yourself. And I think he sniffed that she knew something. He said, well, my mom knew Michael Bell, who was the voice of Butter, and he helped me a little bit. But other than that, I did all this stuff myself. And that was the end of it. And I called him. I said, hey, have a good life. You're not part of mine anymore. Click butts. That was it.
No contact since then, even.
Every now and then he would send a letter or something, or I'd see him at a family thing, but I would go, hey, Steve. He goes, hey, how you doing? Good to see you. Hugging everything. Yeah, and I just sort of, I didn't slap him across the face and kick the crap out of him. I have nothing to do with him. I have no interest in him at all.
Do you want to leave that part of it out of the interview?
Oh, I don't care.
Okay.
It's common knowledge. Friends of mine say to me, oh, my God, it's all my friends, all my casting director friends called him, what the hell was that? We just saw Steve on television. He just totally denied you.
Yeah.
Said, Steve Judas Guttenberg? Yeah.
I mean, your heart just sank, I bet.
Oh, it was terrible. It was terrible. He was like my son, or my kid brother or something. He was, he used to sleep with my dogs, and he had his own private room, and the dogs would climb in bed with him. I mean, he was like, he was family. She was family. He was family. They were family. But it was just a total denial. It was a screw you. I did it by myself. Not that I needed credit. But just say, yeah, I stayed with my godfather, who was in the business, and he was very, very helpful.
Yeah.
Getting me around and giving me clues and giving me ideas and helping getting me in my first film. But that was life. So you learn something from that. But yeah, and every now and then, and he talks about in his novel, the Guttenberg Bible or something.
Yeah.
And I looked at that and I went, what? Used to stay with my godfather, who was a playboy, and all these beautiful girls in and out of his mansion. It's just a load of crap.
Really? I didn't know that part of you.
Yeah, that's crap. I had a lovely home up on the hill, and yeah, there were girls every now and then, but it was not a Playboy. It wasn't a mansion. It was just a little house on a hill.
Wow, that's sad.
He had a tendency to do that. But his career is where it should have been, quite frankly, because he didn't study, he didn't work like I told him to, he didn't continue to study like I told him to. He just played on that cuteness.
Yeah.
So now he's doing volcano tarantulas or something.
I know. There's like number 3 coming out or something, and I know it's.
Good God. Tarantula volcano.
I forget.
Whatever it is.
I know. I forget what it's called. It's something weird, like.
Yeah, Volcutula or Taran Volcano or
something like that.
Some stupid thing. Anyway, enough of them. Enough
of him. Enough of him.
Okay, more me. Go ahead.
Yes. What are you doing these days? What are you up to? What keeps you busy?
Well, I can't tell you what characters I'm playing or anything else other than I am doing Star Wars Rebels.
Yes.
And I don't know if you know it. I didn't know it at the time, but I know it now, certainly. And just finished my 3rd or 4th World of Warcraft Hearthstone Heroes of the Storm games.
Nice.
And I'm guested on the new Voltron.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not as Zan, obviously, a little over the hill for Zan.
Yeah.
Quite a bit over the hill for this. Actually, I'm over the mountain for Zan. But met the young Zan, met the young kid. We did a selfie, so I've got this photo of us doing a selfie. New Zan, old Zan.
Yeah.
So that was kind of fun.
Yeah, that's probably kind of cool going back to a show that you originally helped, produce and voice.
Yeah, and the director said, the only one of the old cast that's guested. And I said, hey, we like all the others. That make them jealous.
Yeah, no kidding. So they weren't asked, or they just couldn't do it?
No, they just, I don't think they've ever, and they should. I mean, Jack Angel is wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
E.J. Ward is fabulous. Peter Cullen's so damn busy, I doubt
I know.
Do it. But yeah, Jack and those, I think those are the only 2 left. And then, of course, the second one we did with Tim Curry and Kevin Michael Richardson was in it. And Billy West, you could call those people in and just to do a thing. But the Gen 1, which would be, of course, Jack Angel and Peter and BJ. And Neil, sorry.
Can't forget Neil Ross.
And Neil Ross. I'd give Neil a call. Have him come in and play. I played a totally different character. I played a cranky old wizard or something.
Mm-hmm.
But for the most part, what can I say? I felt the same way about Transformers, the movies, the live action movies. Contacted Michael Bay when they were going to do it and said, hey, we're going to be using your original voices. And his assistant said, some, but we're not sure just yet. And I said, okay. And he said, I'm a big fan, Mike. And God, you did Prowl and Swoop. And I grew up on that. And I thought, well, this is good. I'm in. He said, but your characters aren't in it, so you're not in it. I said, oh, okay. That's life. But why don't you use us as some of us as we're actors? So what about people on the street? The old bum lying on a bed saying, "What the heck is that?" Whatever it is. Somebody say, "Oh look! Oh my God! Look at that!" Whatever. And you get all of us doing that for sitting in a luncheonette looking out the window, and you say characters in the street and list all of us from the original Transformers. Most of us are available. And he said, gee, what a great idea, but no.
Wow.
No, he said, I said, you're going to hire extras anyway. We don't do extra work as a rule, but because it's this show, part of Gen 1, you might consider that. Yeah, no. Okay.
It's just proof that he's not doing it for the fans.
Oh, he doesn't give a shit about the fans. We're talking about, it's for the fans in the final analysis, but it's also for the people that, it's a big gimmick. It's a huge movie, a lot of CGI. Mm-hmm. But those fans who are big Transformer fans, there's no way that many of them say, yeah, we go, but we don't recognize any of those characters. We don't recognize them. They don't come alive for us. They're just machines.
They're very forgettable. When I watched them, I was like, who just died? I don't remember who just died.
That's the point. When Prowl died, you could hear it around the world, people crying.
Yes. And they didn't get Frank Welker for Megatron. What kind of bonehead move is that?
Didn't they get him for Megatron?
They got him for
second one,
the third one in.
Yeah, but they got Peter.
Yes.
And you couldn't get, of course, Chris, because Chris had passed, so they got, I think, Charlie Adler.
Yep, Charlie Adler, yeah.
And a couple of other voice actors, which were good. Sadly, I wasn't one of them because that would have been fun to do. But I would have loved to have played my own characters. I really would have.
Well, they're still making them, so you can still reach out if you want to, because I would love to hear you on that.
It could happen. Look, I just heard about the Smurfs being done again.
Yes.
It's an animated movie, as an animated film, not with CGI, but animated. So some guy approached me. I was wearing my Smurf jacket, and he said, "Where'd you get the jacket?" And I told him, he went, oh my God, you were grouchy, handy, and lazy? Oh my God. And he goes over to this crowd of people that's sitting at a table. He said, "This is Michael Bell." He was, and they all went, "Oh my God." So I said, "Why are you so excited?" And he said, "Well, I'm the animator for the new film."
Oh.
Yeah. I said, "There's a new film coming?" He said, "Yeah, we're doing the animation. We're starting to work on the animation very, very soon." He said, if it's Tuesday, it must be Meatballs or something. I said, "Wow, okay." So I called my agent. I said, "Okay, could you get on the stick and get me an audition?" And then she said, "Sure." Geez, I didn't know they were doing it. So she got on the stick. The casting director said, "Yeah, I was going to get around to him. We'll send him a script, sent me some sides for the role of Grouchy." So I said, "Okay." And they said, "But it's a young Grouchy." I said, "I was young when I did Grouchy, so how much younger?" And they said, "Well, he's a young Grouchy." I said, "Okay." So think in those terms. And Grouchy's, was, "I hate Smurfette.
Mm-hmm.
Where are we going, Papa?"
So I said, "Well, I got him young, so what if he has very, very slight, just a little bit of a sound?" "Oh, where are we going to go, Papa? You know what, Papa Smurf?" Just a little bit of something. So, hey, no.
Wow. What? I hate this. I hate Hollywood. Seriously.
Yeah, so Charlie and I once kidding, we said, "Gee, we keep auditioning for our own career."
Mm-hmm.
But they did call and they said, "Mike, we'd like to use the La La song, and since you're one of the singers, we'd have to sign you on that. You'd have to approve it." And I said, "Sure, okay, sign me on. Do I get residuals?" "Yeah, okay, you got me." So in there, when you hear la 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 la, I'm in there somewhere.
Wow, I didn't know they had to pay you for that. That's really cool.
Sure did. And I recently, although you won't recognize me, because it's a totally different sound, and I can't tell you what I did, I recently did a voice in Doctor Strange.
Ooh, now I'm intrigued. That's really cool. I'll have to hear you, listen out for your voice.
You won't hear it.
Okay.
No, it's something I had to do to match, and it was a really good match, but you won't hear me.
Interesting. Now I need to know. I have to know, Michael.
I can't tell you. We all signed confidentially.
Yes. Yeah. All right, Michael. I had a blast. Let me tell you, this is probably one of my favorite interviews.
Good. I'm glad you did.
So cool. Thank you so much. Can I have you close the episode out as any one of your characters?
Well, this is Lazy Smurf. I just had an interview with Tim Nydell on Saturday morning. Rewind. It was really a lot of fun.
Thanks for listening to Saturday Morning Rewind. Please check them out on Facebook and Twitter. And that's all, folks.